Good afternoon. How's everyone doing? Hope you're well. Hope you're good. Put it into the chat if you can hear me okay, see me all right. Hey Moss, how you doing? Hey Nicola, Happy New Year. Hope you're well. Hey VXP, hey KLE, how you doing? Good morning. Hey Joki. Hey Ayakame, good morning. Happy New Year, Spiros. How you doing? So for everyone who has been putting in the messages, thank you massively. Yeah, if you're new to the session, do put in a message, say hi, let me know that you're here, let me know where you're joining us from. For all the regulars, big welcome back. Second live stream for the year. And also, if you can help me out massively, do click that like and subscribe button, whether you're on YouTube, TradingView, LinkedIn, TikTok, wherever platform you're watching on, do click on the like and subscribe button, and the link is going to be there for you. If you haven't already, do make sure you join us on the Discord channel. Okay. Hey Erwin, how you doing? Hey D-Train, good afternoon. For everyone on TradingView, massive apologies. I am still sourcing for another, what we call a webcam, just so that I can have multiple cameras on me. So still no webcam on TradingView at the moment. Hey David, good morning, Happy New Year. Okay, so again, big welcome and thank you for joining me on this daily market analysis. If you haven't already, do drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. And if you can help me out massively, do click the like and subscribe button as we go through the session. Again, a quick disclaimer, any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. Please do your own due diligence, as the contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, and your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Okay, if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. I'll be happy to address your questions. If you have any particular pairs you want to look at, put it into the chat and let me know as well. Hey Pips Apprentice, good morning, how are you doing? Hey Michael from London, from the UK, good to have you with us, nice to see you. Hey Faith, how are you doing? Okay, just before we started the session, I had a sudden bulk of, don't know, just feeling a bit queasy, so just bear with me if I plonk away suddenly. Okay, but all good for now. So what do we have yesterday? A whole bunch of PMI numbers released. No big surprises there. The US manufacturing PMI number was released a little bit lower than expected and lower than previous, but we didn't do too much to the dollar. We did see the dollar index move that up a little bit, push to the upside. So this was, we were about here yesterday. We were looking for it to either push down from that point, so that didn't happen, but we were saying the alternate scenario, or the likely one, is that it could retrace to that 102.50, but still looking for it to trade lower, right? So it didn't get to 102.50 exactly. It came close. It got to as high as 102.25. I added in this other trend line here, just catching these tops here, and that coincided with why we saw the dollar index pause at this 102.25 level. Okay, was asking that in the group. Let me just, okay, I'll just leave that there. Was asking in the group about that long tail there. You can pretty much ignore that because that only happened on this pricing, did not happen to all the other pricing for the dollar index. So I think that was just some maybe glitch or not rollover, because that's at 10 o'clock. So I don't know why there was this tail, but we can just ignore that. Basically, the dollar index climbed overnight or over yesterday from 101.50 up towards 102.25. Okay. Thanks for that, Michael. Good to have you following us. Hey, Spiros, I can do CAD Swiss franc. I'll get to that later. And hey, Jimmy, how are you doing? Okay, so that was what happened last night with the dollar index. Despite all the PMI numbers didn't do too much. But for today is Wednesday, the 3rd of January 2024. Bank of Japan, or Japan is still on holiday. Again, thoughts and prayers to everyone in Japan who is affected by the earthquake. With that, tonight at 11 p.m. GMT plus 8, 11 p.m. we do have the US ISM manufacturing PMI numbers, 46.7, expected 47.2. I think that with the way final PMI numbers yesterday was released, a little bit lower, I think that we might see this maybe at that, just at 47, right? So might be a little bit lower than forecasted, but I do think that we might see that still higher than previous. Okay, so maybe a little bit more upside on the dollar before a correction back down or retracement back down again. JOLTS jobs openings was 8.73 million, expected 8.84. Okay, it was 8.73, expected 8.84. Looking like we might see more job openings. And usually, so this is, again, just to highlight to you, this is number of job openings during the reported month. So this was for release monthly, 35 days after the month end. For the previous months, with the festive period in the US, you know, with Christmas and all that, I do anticipate that we're going to see higher job opening numbers. So there might be a bit of a positive number at 8.84, maybe even 8.9. Thinking maybe even 8.9. Okay, so a little bit more, possibly a little bit more good news to come for the US. And then through that, early tomorrow morning for me, maybe I think in the evening or in the night for you guys, US FOMC meeting minutes to be released. I don't think we're going to see too much in the sense of the meeting minutes this time round. Maybe some comments about a rate cut I don't think they'll talk about rate cut. I think it'll be just comments about timing of a rate cut, right? I don't think they'll talk about rate cut per se. They might be talking about timing of a rate cut, but most likely it's going to be in the theme or in the fashion of saying that a rate cut is going to be dependent on the data leading up to the next FOMC meetings. Okay, because the next FOMC meeting in January is happening on the 31st of January, if I'm not wrong. Most likely we're going to see rates stay at the current level. Right now, the anticipation is for a rate cut in March or some likelihood in March, but most likely in April. In May. No meeting in April. Okay? And then we'll talk about ADP non-farm tomorrow, and then the non-farm payrolls the day after on Friday. Swiss yen, we can do that, Faith? Yes, for sure. And hey, Jamil, how are you doing? Okay, so you can see that for today, not much to be worried about for now. We do have maybe some good news to come from the US, some good data to be released from the US later tonight, and then the FOMC meetings at 3 a.m. GMT plus 8. So now looking at the charts at this point, take that away for now. Okay, this is the 3rd of Jan, and we can see that, I'll zoom out a little bit, you can see that we have this trend line. Okay, there we have it, from this point here, and that's why we drew that all the way. Still looking like it might test. Remember, maybe some good data to come from the US later tonight, so still looking at maybe some further upside on the dollar index to push that up. We can take that one away. 23.6 is gone. We can take that away, and we can look at maybe 61.8 as well. Okay, so now we have it like that. A bit of a consolidation here from this trend line, from this point 2, 3, 4 down to this point. I'm thinking that we could see this test 102. We could still see this test 102.50, maybe even 102.60. I feel that if it breaks above, I'll put this here. I feel that if it breaks above this point, then we might see it break above the trend line a little bit more. 61.8 is right there. Okay, at 102, just below 103. So what I'm thinking now is that we might see maybe a little bit too early to preempt a retracement to the downside. Could break and push up towards this point. Okay, let me think. Break above 50, yes. Break above 102.60, maybe. I don't think it will stay. Okay, so we'll say that the dollar index could trade higher to 102.50 and 102.90. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking that the dollar index could trade up to 61.8 in this range here, but we want it to stay below this level. I'll take that away actually. We want it to stay below 61.8 to maintain that short term, to maintain that bearish bias, right? If it breaks above that 102.90 or 103 level, then we might be thinking that we might see a bit more of a push to the upside on the dollar index. So could trade higher to 102.90, needs to stay below 103 to maintain bearish bias on the dollar. Okay, so we might see that push back up a little bit. Needs to stay below 103 to maintain the bearish bias. I think that is fair. All good so far? Put into chat, let me know. Hey Goju, how you doing? Long time no see. Good to see you. Then with that, so our Kiwi dollar in the channel did not work. It did not bounce off that channel. See, this is why I wanted that level up a little bit higher. Although we did see it bounce a little bit here. We did see it test the channel and bounce, but you saw the dollar strength pushing to the upside. That's why we saw the Kiwi dollar break out of that channel. So that trade did not trigger. Take that one away. Now that the channel is broken, I will take that away as well. Okay, and then if you look at this, we could be looking at a bit of a trend line there. Okay, no, I don't need that trend line there. But what I am noting is that support level right here. Okay, 0.62 as a support level. Now anticipating a little bit more upside on the dollar index, what you could be looking for, we have that area there. Okay, so on the 21st of December, we saw a retrace, bounce off this level to push higher. Now looking like it's pushing back down to this level. I think this could be a very small trade on the Kiwi. If it breaks below 6240, you would have a 35 pip move to the downside, very tight stop loss, no more than 15 that way. Okay, could you go a little bit lower? Yes, that could work as well, but then you would also want to note a little bit of a level there. So you could even go down to 50 pips that way. Okay, so in this case we'll be looking at a, that did not trigger, that buy did not trigger. We'll be looking at selling 0.6240, stop loss 15 pips, take profit 50 pips to the downside. Okay, dollar index now, trying to zoom in and still capture everything. Let me see what can we do here. There we go, and there we go. Okay, that works. So we're seeing the dollar index push a little bit to the upside now. It does need to break above that trend line, that bearish trend line, before we would say that it's quite a, will be a more sustained move higher towards that 102.90 level. Okay, so that's happening, could happen quite soon, maybe by the end of this session. Aussie dollar again broke that trend line, breaking that support level here. Next level, most of the time you would think that you can put a support level here, but I feel that, you know, although you have that 1 point here and all of those levels there, you can also put it to the downside here. Okay, so what I would do is have that as my support, about there, 6660, and then I will identify this point as a bit of an interim level. There we go. Okay, so same thing, expecting that dollar strength to push the Aussie lower. That's a support turned to resistance now. I would want it to break below that point here, right? And if it does that, then you'll be looking to sell down 25 pips. I don't think it'd be worth doing that. Hey, calm, relax, how are you doing? What I would say, again, quite similar to what we were looking at yesterday, Aussie quite close to the level, probably not worth trying to do that. I would say look for it to break below this point, 6725, so 6720, a little bit lower, 6718. Stop loss no more than 20 pips. I could even go a little bit lower, 6715, 20 pip stop and a 50 pip take profit to the downside. Catching that point there, pushing down. So you can, if you want to closely manage your trade, You can look to sell it down this way for 25 pips scalp to the downside, stop loss about 20 pips, or 1:1 to the downside, and then after that look to sell it down again. For the more patient or a little bit more risk adverse, you can be looking for that move instead. I'm happy with that. We take that one away so that it did not push up. Any head and shoulder? No. Looking at the patterns now. No, so I'm just looking for it to break past this point to sell down. I'll be happy with that. 6715. So this one we're looking to sell at 0.6715. Stop loss 20 pips. Take profit 50 pips to the downside. Okay, so what you could see here, what you can see here is that a little bit more waiting to do on the Aussie. Good 25 pip move down before you look to sell. Kiwi pushing a little bit lower, could be looking at a quick, faster trade. An earlier trade on the Kiwi compared to the Aussie to the downside. Okay. And look at that, yen pushing back up again. All right. Again, if you haven't already, do check out I wrote that yen first quarter analysis, right? Talked a bit about the policy normalization in 2024. Overall view, I am thinking that the yen could push up to 144 level and then after that turn back down. So, do help me out, read that and boost that as well. So the link is going to be there for you guys to go check it out as well. Okay. I'm going to write quarterly reports for the major pairs. So now you see that the yen found that support, bounced up, breaking through that resistance. As we can see on the yen, despite anticipating that push to the upside towards 144, not looking to buy it up because of that big push lower. Okay, so what I'm looking out for in this case is actually more towards the next, where's the next resistance? Looking for places to sell the yen back down, right? Looking for places to sell the yen back down. Good resistance here at 142.83, about 143. That could push up. USDCHF is near my TP now. Good. Jamil's trading very well. Good job, Jamil. Let me just look at this a bit. Okay, here we look at that. That's broken, so that's done. Take that away. Come up towards that resistance we have. The next one here, I don't really think you'll get to that point as a resistance. Prince Philip, hey Prince Philip, how you doing? Yen is coming online tomorrow, so we may see yen strength to get funds move to safe haven and due to earthquake. Yeah, the earthquake thing, I didn't see a major, or not major, I didn't see an immediate impact because of the earthquake. Very different to 2000 and I can't remember what year was it, where they had a tsunami, the big earthquake and the tsunami. We did see that one. We saw a massive move on the yen, big weakness and then the strength all the way back down. but I didn't see it this time round. So, you know, I actually did quickly tune in to look at the charts. Did not happen. Right now, the yen, I'm thinking it's going to come up to that resistance. And yes, good point that the yen is on holiday at the moment. Maybe that's why they're not defending it that well. So thinking that this could push up towards resistance. Let me just check one more thing. And you see that's coming towards that 50% level. So yen could trade up to 143. Let's say, hey Matt Nicholas, how you doing? Happy New Year. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how high could it go before it could turn back down. I think that the 60% level would be fair, right? So right now the yen is being dragged up, right? Also maybe because of that dot. Oh look, the tail disappeared. What happened? Someone woke up and deleted the tail away. Yeah, looking at the dollar, maybe pushing higher, that's going to drag the yen up. So I would actually be thinking to not do anything on the yen at the moment, but yen could climb to 143 resistance. Look for reaction. There we go. Okay, so why I look for a reaction is because I don't see a reason why it would quickly hit and reverse. So it could come up there, sit around that level before turning back down. If it does reverse at 143, then I'll be looking at about 142.80. Stop loss about 40 pips. Take profit all the way back down, good 200 pips to the downside on the US yen. So I'm still looking for selling opportunities back down. Just gonna be patient and wait it out as it climbs a little bit higher. Okay. I have not forgotten your CAD Swiss franc, Spiros, and the Swiss yen faith. I will get to that once I get past Swiss franc and CAD and the loonie. Okay, I'll come back to those. Jamil, on US Swiss franc, I have 2 trade open, 129 pips. Did it move 129? Oh, you got in right at the bottom. I think you were buying it up. Yep. 129 pips and 2 trade, 100 pips today. Make 229 pips, maybe more. Very nice. Are you stacking your trades, Jamil? So are you going in, like, are you buying and then buying again, stacking the trades up? Something to be careful of if you're doing it. Not that it's wrong or that you can't do it, but something to be extra careful of if you're stacking trades up, because if it does reverse quickly, it could catch you out, right? So as you stack your trades, make sure you move your stop loss accordingly as well, protect your trades, and make sure you calculate the sizing of your trades as well if you're stacking it. Okay, so yen did not push up, break through that trend line, that big upward trend line broken, so we can take that one away. Interim level there is still valid. Now sitting at a relatively key support level here at 1.2620 at about there. 1.2620 at about there. Okay, then the next level down is at 1.25. That's our next support. Okay, watch out. Don't rush into it. Watch out for this one, is that this level at 1.2620, We've seen it break through and stay above since the 14th of December. One time came close, two times came close, three times. It would be an error to try and rush into this. We're looking for it to break that support. It needs to get past I would say below 1.26, right? So below 1.26, stop loss about 30 pips. Take profit could go down to 90 pips to the downside. Right, you see the dollar sitting right in that area. I can even draw a box and pretty much cover that whole area there. So it's still a bit undecided, not even ruling out the idea that it could very well retrace from here. Then it's quite straightforward. You can be following the trend back up. At this support level, we'll be looking for it to break down, or if it does what it's been doing since the 14th, to bounce up from this point. Okay, then you could be looking at 2 level is good for buy. What's the 2 level? I think break. Oh, break to this level and then look for a buy. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking whether you could straddle on the pound dollar actually. Whether you could do a straddle on that in the sense of 1.2655, stop loss about 40 pips, take profit. I wouldn't go all the way. I don't see a reason why it should go all the way back up. It could get to about 100 pips there. We could have a bit of a straddle there. I do like that break a little bit more though. Yeah, I do like that break to the downside a little bit more than the likelihood of a bounce. If you check low time frame, you look flag pattern 15, 5. There might be a pattern, but it's a bit rangy, right? It's sitting right across at that support level. I think that I wouldn't dwell on any patterns at that point too much. I like that one a bit more. I like it more than that. I wouldn't want to think of a straddle. So 1.26 stop loss 30, take profit 90 to sell down on the pound dollar. Okay, so we're looking to sell at 1.26, stop loss 30, take profit 90 on the pound dollar. Hey matey, what do you think about the risk about this? The risk of a surprise from the FOMC meeting minutes is likely on the hawkish side since the market is already full on dovish. It's hard to see how the Fed could suggest anything more easing than what the market has already priced in. Okay, so Mehdi is asking about a potential surprise on the minutes from the FOMC. I don't think we'll see a surprise on the minutes. Why I say that is because if you look at, I can't remember when was it, just bear with me here. If you look at the last meeting, 14th if I'm not wrong. Yeah, there we go. If you look at the last meeting where they kept rates on hold, so the meeting minutes is going to be the minutes for this December meeting, right? So they keep rates on hold, and also the statement that they came out with, right? The vote was unanimous. They did a bit of a comparison, but this main thing that the vote was unanimous, possibly going to support the idea that we're not going to see a big surprise in terms of the minutes. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to be staying up for this meeting. I typically don't stay up for the meeting minutes because I've already traded. Usually I would have traded the news event already, so the meeting minutes is a bit of a talk about the past, right? About how they got to that. Sometimes there is a little bit of a volatility or higher liquidity on the minutes release, but not often. Okay, hope I answered your question there, Mehdi, on the FOMC meeting minutes and the possible surprise. And good morning, Angel Case. How are you doing? Hey, Diana. Good to see you. Jamil closed the US Swiss franc. Okay, we'll get to that shortly. So I've done pound, dollar. I am happy with that. Happy New Year, Diana. Wishing everyone a super profitable new year ahead. Or year ahead, not new year, year. 2024 ahead. Okay, euro dollar, we had that as a what if. Right? Yesterday we spoke about this. We were thinking, okay, dollar weakness, we were looking to buy everything up. None of those trades got triggered. We said maybe we're looking at the euro dollar. I'm anticipating weakness on the euro. What if we see the dollar strengthen, which is why we were looking to sell the euro down. That pushed lower. I did not get onto this trade. As I was telling you all, I'm easing back into it. So this week, pretty much, I'm still testing things out, looking at the trends and support resistance levels. But we see that it came down, broke 50, broke 61.8 and pushed down. If you did get onto that trade, about 45 pip move to the downside. Okay, and then what you notice is that these are all broken. We can take that away. We have our interim level here at 1.0936, sitting in a bit of a consolidation at this point. Next support here at 1.0893. And it could come down and break that. I wouldn't see, that's only a small move. That's if I'm not wrong, that's only that's a 43 pip move to the downside at maximum. So I wouldn't want to do anything there. I would actually, one thought that's crossing my mind now is that I'm thinking maybe could the euro do that, right? Could the euro do that back up, given that we're thinking the dollar could rise, test and reject back down? Again, maybe a contrarian view there on the euro, but it is sitting in that consolidation right now. So in that range, it could just do anything, but what you could be looking for here is to, if it bounces back up, you sell it back down this way. So do that. I don't like that. I think like what I'm blessed says is that it could come down to fill this gap, right? It could come down to fill this point here. So we might be looking at a move 1.0875, stop loss about 30 pips, take profit. You can go to 90, but it could just be about a 50 pip move about that point there. It could come down to about that point there. With that, what I would like to do is that you got about 100 pip move to the downside. I can even take this a little bit higher, 1.0880, stop loss 25. Even 30 pips is fine, and take profit 100. And then you have a bit of a level there to watch out for as well. Okay, I'm happy with that. Yes, I can check out Swiss yen. So I have requests for CAD, Swiss yen, and Swiss yen. Okay. I'm actually thinking that this could push up a little bit. I'm thinking that this can push up a little bit. Looking at that, that's sitting right there. I don't see a reason why the euro would come all the way back down again. Yeah, I think that this might be a little bit more interesting if we saw it do that. 1.0985, take profit 90, stop loss 30. So what we could be looking for here on the euro is a bit of a bounce and a reject back down. Okay, I'll do that as a bit of a contrarian view again. So 1.0985, very similar to yesterday's view. Okay, so 1.0985 we're looking to sell, so a bit of a bounce. So it's going to retrace higher, then we look to reject resistance. We'll sell at 1.0985. Stop loss would be 30, take profit would be 90 to the downside. Okay. And then maybe it might go even further down, but I think that, yeah, there is that possibility. That one is straightforward. I mean, the alternate scenario is straightforward. It sells down. Well, we got a good 100 pip move to the downside. Even 7.5 will be fine. Stop loss will be tight at about 30. So we got that two options there. I'm looking at a possibility of a retrace. Let me see again. That's going to come to, yeah, see, test that level, turn back down, maybe. We'll keep an eye on that, but I'm thinking of that scenario there. Then onto the US Swiss franc. Jamil did very well there. I think yesterday when we were talking, he was buying it up and then buying it up some more, right? And pushed up to that resistance level, testing that resistance or coming very close to that resistance. I would move that aside for now because that did not trigger. Take that away. Oh wait, before that, so we were looking yesterday to say maybe it's going to come up, test that resistance and reject. It's taking a little bit longer than expected, but it does look like it's pushing up, double bottom pushing up to that resistance level. I'll maintain that view. I'll maintain that view that this could push up a little bit more. Then I'll look to sell down, so 8515. Stop loss 30, take profit 60, back down. Okay, so sell at 8515. Take profit 60, stop loss 30, 8515. Yeah, okay. I'm happy with that. Okay, good. Now, with the US Swiss franc possibly sitting right across right now, it's rejected now, I'm looking to sell. Yeah, I think that there might be still a little bit of a move up. I think so. Jamil was saying that the US Swiss franc is rejected, looking to sell down, waiting for it to break that low point there. Yes, but I think maybe a little bit more of a push. Maybe a little bit more of a push back up again. Might have to touch that level before turning back down. Okay, and why I think that, if we took this whole thing, you see it came right up, almost touched 38.2. Just missed out on that a little bit, so I think it could come up a little bit more, touch, reject, and then sell back down. Okay, so now anticipating that we might see the US Swiss franc push a little bit, climb a little bit more before pushing back down, and on the US yen pushing back up. I changed all the charts. Let me just do another one. Then now looking at the Swiss yen. I've got my charts here. Okay, looking at the Swiss yen, finding that, let's start this again. We have our resistance right up there. And then we have a bit of a support right down there. That trend line doesn't matter, that's bounced off the support level, right? So US, Swiss yen, yen pushing up, we're going to see that push up. So that could lead to a little bit more upside. I would have loved it before this candle, but at this point, I would say short-term view, break 23. I think if this candle closes this way, maybe a little bit of a retrace first, all right, but it's pushing back up. So I would even be looking at a push to the upside, about 167 dot. I would like it above 38.2, but then it's not going to be a very good risk to reward. All right, so what I'm looking at is that point there. If it breaks past that, so 167.90, stop loss about 40 pips, take profit back up there about 140 pips to the upside. You could even be a little bit more conservative and think of 100 pips to the upside, catching those points there. But you can just do that and then maybe close out a little bit earlier. Okay, so for Diana and also Faith, who's asking about the Swiss yen, thinking that it's going to push a little bit higher. Yep, think it's going to push a little bit higher because of the US yen, maybe pulling it back up. I think that the US Swiss franc coming back down maybe a little bit later, so going to see that push back up. 167.90, stop loss 40, take profit 140. Okay, let me know if you hope that answers your question there. Then on to the US CAD. Did very well. We did very well with that one, right? Pushed up. We're looking maybe some dollar strength, recovery to the upside, broke through that resistance, which is now a support level. A good 50 pip move to the upside. Let me know if you did get onto the US CAD for 50 to the upside. And then now breaking that resistance as well. Okay, so the next resistance up on the US CAD would be about there. That's a bit too near. I like it about that point there. Yeah. Okay, I like it about that point there. Catching those two as my resistance level. A bit of a concern here is that we might be over anticipating that move to the upside on the dollar index. Just something to watch out for. Don't jump into all the trades thinking of that dollar strength. You know, make sure you time it properly. I'm looking at 1.3340. Stop loss, you're most welcome there, Faith. Stop loss 30 pips, take profit 60 pips to the upside on the USCAD. Okay, breaking out of that consolidation here that we see. Okay, so 1.3340. Very nice, Moss. Good job. Congrats. I didn't do anything. I just talked about it. You are the one who clicked the button and got into the trade. So very nice trade there, Moss. Also talking about USCAD, we're looking to buy at 1.334. I think 1.3340. Yep. Stop loss 30. Take profit 60. 40. Stop loss 30, take profit 60 there on the US CAD, on Loonie. In this case, you see we have a bit of a conflicting view between the US Swiss franc and the US CAD. So that covers a bit of our bases there. Then, as Spiros was asking, the other one, what was the other one? CHF CAD, was it? Let me see. CAD Swiss franc, not Swiss CAD. CAD CHF. Okay. Never looked at this one before, Spiros. So here's the first view of this. Found a good, strong support here towards the end of the year. Double bottom bounce back up. We do have a resistance right about here. That's fair. Very choppy. Very choppy here on the recent moves with a resistance level there. It's right in the middle. Right, we're anticipating that the CAD could push up, so the Loonie could push up, so we could be looking at this pushing higher. I wouldn't get into any trades on the CAD Swiss because it's just right in the middle. If you, I was going to say if you really wanted to, you could be looking to do that. But then we have that swing point here, so I don't like that. Then you'll be thinking, oh, I have to go above that. Then it's too near to that resistance. I think that it's going to sit in there. And look at that view. I got all of that. Take those away. It's a big, strong push, or it has been a big, strong push to the downside. So buying it back up might be a little bit more tricky as well. So I would say that it's possibly going to sit around that point. $50 is right there. So it's just sitting right. It's holding those levels quite well. 61.8 is right there, 50 is right. It's holding the levels quite well. I anticipate that the CAD Swiss, the Milsing's high and low pattern is, sitting right there. It's most likely going to continue consolidating within that range, or even maybe a little bit more would be 0.64, between 0.64 and 636 0. I think it's going to stay within that range. What I would look out for is if it breaks above that resistance back up, or if it climbs back up like that and then turns back down or breaks through, then I'll be looking for a trade, not at this point. Right? If it retraces back down, then maybe you could look to sell it down. But I think that the support's not that bad. Yeah, I still wouldn't. There's only a 40 pip move. I'll look for either a test of either the levels before I look for a trade. All right, Spiros, I hope I answered your question there on the CAD Swiss. Yeah, CAD Swiss. Hey, Mr. Firm. Yes, this is Forex. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Good to have you with us. Thanks for finding us. Okay. Then now we'll look at gold. Right, gold yesterday, I was thinking that it could break. I sent out that as it was trying to break above that level. I sent it out in the Discord channel and said, hey, watch out for that. Could be looking to trade up, but went up, came right back down. And if you scroll back to what we talked about yesterday, I was saying, looks like it could bounce off this trend line, but it could even come back down to this support level. Did that exactly, came down to the support. And held. Okay, so this 61.8 is still valid. We'll keep that. Right now, gold is, with that, still applies. Okay, so what we have here is we have these points developing that trend line and holding that trend line. So what you would be, dollar index is still sitting right there. Could look like it's going to break down. Could look like it's going to break to the downside. We have a next point here. Support level is there. That's fair. So if it breaks below, what I'm being very cautious is of that we've seen a big push to the upside, right? We've seen a big push to the upside. So I'm being a bit more cautious in terms of trying to sell it down. But if it does break that support and that trend line, so below 2058, we could see it trade down towards 2047. But we need to see a reaction. So it's very similar to what we were talking about yesterday. Needs a reaction. Look for reaction at 2058. Below at support. Below 2058 could trade down to 2047. There we go. Okay. And Bless says it's here head and shoulder. I think you're talking about a bit of a shoulder here. Head and a shoulder, a bit of a skewed one. That could, and that's a neckline, which could make sense as well, and that we can see that drop. Yes. Not perfect, but yes, one of a bit of a variation there, and that's why I'm thinking they could push down as well. Okay. And Morse was asking for the NAS. Where do I have it? Look at the index. Well, let's go through all the index. Right, SPX is sitting right there. We have, I think I cleared out my lines, so I just want to do this and put in the refreshed lines. We've got a good support here. We got a good resistance up there. Dollar gaining a bit of strength is going to see this push back up. I think that is going to stay within this range. I don't see it breaking at this point. Early in the year, I don't see it breaking any level at this point, so it's probably going to stay there on the 100. Break up, resistance right there, support, it's right there. So it all retraced back down to support and showing that oh, sorry, showing that bounce. This looks like the US 100 looks like it could push back up. But the dollar index, dollar is just sitting right there. I'm even thinking that we might see that even break back down, but I want to see it push up a little bit more first. I think we're going to see a more sustained move if it pushes back down. If it pushes up first before it pushes back down. Okay. DJI is not super interesting, so it's not doing too much. I have my level there and there. It's just sitting right in the middle. Looks like it could push up a little bit more. Everything looks like it's going to push up a little bit more, which, because there's a correlation, should mean that this is going to push down, but I'm actually thinking this is going to push back up. So I think across the indexes, we're probably going to sit across a little bit longer until we see that maybe test and then push back down. Then we're going to see the indexes resume its push to the upside again. Okay. Any other questions or good? If you can help me out, remember, click that like and subscribe button. And if you have any questions, let me know. Got that one. I will also again put in the Discord channel link there for you guys. So if you haven't already, do make sure you join us on Discord. A couple of you joining us on TikTok as well. Good to have you with us. And okay, so with that said, tomorrow we might see a little bit more activity because we are going to see we're going to have that meeting minutes, but we're going to see the ADP non-farm employment numbers and employment claims, unemployment claims from the US in the lead up to the non-farm employment change numbers on Friday night. Okay, so please trade well. If there's no trades, don't rush it. Trade safe. Take care, and I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll see you on Discord, and if not, I'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Take care now. Bye-bye.